What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of Mika Says Sukasa, and I am your host, Niko House. Today, I have a very special guest, someone who is running for office in California. This is Maria Estrada.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Mika Says Sukasa. I love that.
There you go. There you go. And a lot of people don't catch that because my last name is House. People are like, oh, where'd you get that name from? I'm like, my last name is House. You didn't get that?
They're like, what?
Yeah, they're like, oh.
You Mexican too?
Oh, you're so philosophical, man. Gee, man. How are you, Maria? How's the campaign going?
I'm great. It's like I said, it's a little hectic. The convention's Friday, so we got a lot of stuff going on.
I know that.
Getting ready for that convention.
The convention in California?
Yes.
Isn't it kind of early?
No, they do them every 6 months. They have separate ones. They have them in Northern California and Southern California, and then they have e-board meetings. So the last one is actually in November.
Well, California politics, and specifically the Democratic Party, is so discombobulated. They need to have about 7 more. there, which I'm sure you can talk about. But you've been so. First of all, can you give a little introduction about who you are, what you're running for, what area you live in, and anything else involved with your campaign?
Well, I'm Maria Estrada. I'm running the 63rd district against the Speaker of the Assembly of the State of California, Anthony Rendon. I'm one of the founders of Compton for Bernie. I'm on the board of the Native Women's Unity Association. I'm just an activist, a mom, a grandma. I'm just a regular person. And I'm in Lakewood right now. So it's Lakewood, Linwood, Southgate, Cudahy, Maywood, Bell, part of Long Beach, the city of Paramount, all are in this district. So it's a pretty large district. And the Speaker of the Assembly shelved SB 562 last June 23rd, I believe, on a Friday at 5 o'clock. And that bill would have provided single payer full health care for everyone in the state of California, including undocumented people. Mm-hmm. And I spoke to him personally about the matter, and he has no intentions of releasing the bill. He's talking, he's using the same talking points that the whole Democratic Party is using, who's voting against it.
You want to tell him, or should I tell him? Because people who don't live in California might not know about his literature that he's been passing out. Join him in the fight for universal health care.
Yeah, that actually just went out to everyone's home, and this
how
district.
The hell is he running on that? Nobody has like, what the how was he getting away with that? Like,
because he has a lot of money to send out mailers all the time, and he could say whatever he wants, and people here don't even know. They don't even know what SB 562 is.
Yeah, of course, exactly. So they can look it up, and it'll say they killed it, like he killed it, and they're going, well, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
His voting record. So, wow. So, what measures are y'all taking to try to reconcile that? Because that was like some undercutting, like shit. I was totally caught off guard by that. I thought somebody was actually editing the paper, like to be like a dick or a prick, like sarcastically. And then like I find out other people start sending me pictures. I'm like, holy shit, this is real. How is he getting away with this? How is it not national news yet?
Hey, because he's got money and he can buy and pay for whatever he wants. The Democratic Party also states that they're for single payer, and yet this state is run by Democrats, like, and it's only Democrats. And I'll tell you straight, and I told him the same thing. I said, let's be clear now that it isn't Trump and it isn't the GOP blocking Californians from having health care. It's the Democratic Party, but specifically you, because you're the one that has the power to release this bill. Exactly. And he goes, well, that's not a fair assessment. I said, whether it's fair or not is irrelevant. It's accurate. It's accurate assessment. And then I know. And unfortunately, what it is you have a lot of people who have a lot of money riding on this bill not passing.
Oh, yeah.
I actually just met with the Nurses Association in Oakland on Friday about their endorsement. And I mean, I had laid it out for them. I'm like, these people in that district aren't even aware of what the bill is about. They don't know about it, and I need to go out there and educate them on what's going on. And aside from the bill, there's two factors involved. The fact that everyone needs health care, but specifically in this district, you have a city of Paramount, and there's an organization called the Paramount Community Coalition that is fighting for the environmental health of their community, and there's a class action lawsuit against 7 companies. 3 are owned by Warren Buffett, and those companies are releasing carcinogens. People have cancer, health ailments. I met a woman who's sterile. You got kids in class, nosebleeds, asthma, allergies, but that's all over this district. The Exide plant over in Vernon, the soil's poisoned. These politicians know this is happening, and they're playing with people's lives with this healthcare bill, and it's really unfortunate. And that's the primary reason I'm running is because for 2 things. No one wanted to run against him out of fear. Because of who he is, and even the local governments here are very corrupt. I mean, some of the mayor in Maywood just had the FBI at his house and at the office. I mean, it's just crazy.
It seems no matter what level, whether it's national or local, there's no such thing as a non-corrupt government.
Well, for myself, I feel it's a responsibility of anyone who has a position of power, that the people that vote you in and give you that, they have faith in you, that you have a responsibility to those people, and you also have a responsibility to use that power to empower other people. Absolutely. And I would use that power to basically overthrow every city council and school board in this district and put in activists and regular people that just want to, have a good community and have good schools and have clean air and clean water. I mean, my friend Rosie lives in Cudahy, and she posted a video of her sink water, and she put a glass in, the water's coming out brown. That isn't just happening in Flint, that's happening all over.
Oh yeah, it's happening it's definitely happening all over, in New York, Florida as well.
So you have that with the infrastructure, and then now and to be clear, it's all Democrats in this state. We can't blame anybody else but Democrats. So they're allowing these builders to gentrify our neighborhoods, but they're not doing anything to build that.
And just as a brief aside, not only because obviously there are Republican areas, but the Democratic areas are actually more dangerous.
Not this area
environmentally than the Republican areas. Like the Republican areas, they're not being hit with the same type of chemicals that a lot of the Democratic dominant areas are, which is because even worse because it's a Democratically dominated state.
Yeah, because it's environmental racism, and it's happening in the Black and brown communities all up and down this state.
Yeah, they pretend.
But the fact of the matter is that Democrats been controlling the state since 1959. Every one of these communities, it's all Democrats in this city, in this county, in this area. I mean, you could go to LA City Hall. Garcetti's a Democrat. Jackie Lacey, the DA, is a Democrat. I'm not sure. Beck retired. I'm not sure if he's been replaced. But all these people that are allowing the police to go do whatever they want, they're all Democrats. So I'm not sure what the loyalty is that we have with Democrats. There's a lot of good Green Party candidates out there. PSL, People for Social Liberation Party. I go to meetings, all meetings. I'm registered as a Democrat, but I don't feel any loyalty to that party because that party's not loyal to me or to my people. I'm just running as a Democrat because of who he is and because I'm taking this to the convention. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You want to get his ass out of there. That's the only reason you need. Strategy isn't always convenient, and it isn't always gift wrapped, but you know how I feel about it. I think Dem Exit got it right, and I think Dem Enter has it right as well. In certain states, depending on your situation, it's appropriate. You can't, if you Dem Exit in California, you're going to kind of screw yourself. I mean, unless you're running for office, you're going to screw yourself because you're still leaving an entire party in power, corrupted, unchecked, and now unaccounted for. Because you have no idea what's going on. They're not going to let you participate in anything going on with that party if you're not registered. And then I know California, I don't know about California, but I know Florida specifically, they're locking down about who can get into certain events if you're not Democrat. They want to see that registration. And they want you to at least be able to confirm that you are a Democrat.
Well, the party's not inclusive even amongst Democrats. In 2015, the convention had 1,500 delegates. Well, we figured out how they were playing the game. So last year, a bunch of us ran. So now there's over 3,000 delegates. So that's So they know what we're doing. At the last convention, I mean, I think just about
Y'all
every
give them
convention,
hell. Every convention, every major.
they call the cops on us every time.
Hey, and that's
They call the
exactly what
cops on
you
us every
need.
time.
Because eventually they're gonna cave. Like either they're gonna lose office, which is very realistic. The California, from what I can tell, people in California, yeah, they're Democrats, but they're tired of dealing with those motherfuckers. Like they're tired of it. I would say that the chances are that California is predominantly progressive. Like it's
But well, I mean, Feinstein just sent out a thing saying that she's progressive.
yeah, I know. But think
She's a
about that.
Republican.
So that's what I mean, and that's why her and Nancy Pelosi, before when they thought California was neoliberal because of Hillary Clinton's numbers, they were like, "Oh, we still could win just shutting the hell up and staying in the back corner and collecting our checks." However, they obviously probably had some wake-up calls and spent some money on some polls. Were like, "Holy shit, this state is really progressive, and we really might lose these races if we don't start changing our rhetoric and becoming more vocal." Because Jaffe is running against
Yeah, he actually
Pelosi.
just messaged me right before we went on. Him and his wife Susan, good friends of mine, and I was
That's
just up in
awesome.
the Bay Area and met with them, to talk
But
about our
remember,
plan
she
for
was
the
quiet for
convention.
a while. She was quiet for quite some time, and then Jaffe's been making some noise out there. I've heard, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, she's in
Game
front of
plan.
everything. She's back
Yeah.
on CNN. Like, when's the last time we heard from Nancy Pelosi?
She hasn't actually debated anybody since like '87 or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and somehow people still like think that she's this super Democrat. I'm like, she's probably vulnerable as hell, and she only wins
She's one
because
of the richest people in Congress.
yeah.
And then I don't know if you know this, but Gavin Newsom is her nephew.
Oh, I did not know that.
So there's all by marriage. It's all.
Of course,
And yeah,
but
and
that's what I'm
she
saying. So like the fact that she's forced to run on a progressive platform, even though she's not going to do any of it, lets you know that California, and even in the elitist areas of California, is dominantly progressive, and that's the message they're looking for. So y'all clearly seem to be winning.
well, I think we need to switch it because they're co-opting the term progressive. We need to be revolutionists.
Yeah, I mean,
Revolutionists.
I don't really give a damn what they call themselves. I'm like, we need to get, like, in my humble opinion, we need to just stop placing so much stock into labels because they're always going to be co-opted. I mean, think about what they did during the what Hillary Clinton did, the Stronger Together shit. That was Bernie's message, and she's straight.
Well, I actually was just at a meeting with Cindy Sheehan. I don't know if you remember her. She's the one, her son was killed in Iraq, and she did that anti-war movement.
Yes.
And then Pelosi and Reid and Hillary Clinton told her that they wanted her help to take over, Congress in 2006. And they used her and helped to, take over and, to end wars and this and that. And then as soon as they got in office, they increased the military spending. So she ran against Pelosi. So Pelosi lied to her, used the death of her son for her own political benefit.
We were naive back then.
But that's what they do. That's what they do.
Not
Just
anymore,
like this guy sending out these mailers to these people. This district, the average income's $38,000 for a family of 3, and that's only because
38,000. That's like poverty in California.
Yeah,
like bad poverty.
Yeah. So people got, people just going to work, trying to pay bills, put food on the table, pay the electric bill. Rent's outrageous. So people are just scraping by, and this bill would have done a tremendous amount of help.
Yeah.
To families here, and they they're not politically engaged. They're just not. Just to have somebody go for a city council meeting that could go on for hours. That's a lot to ask the people.
And it's something maybe something that you've talked about. How can you do something about the cost of living in California? Because it's outrageous as hell, and I'm not even sure why the cost. I think the gold rush had something to do with it in the beginning. The gold rush obviously led to a lot of money flowing in, and then you had Hollywood coming in, and so with all the jobs and the high income associated with those jobs, and then the tech industry as well probably didn't help. Like everything just shot up. So like, has that ever been brought up in California politics?
Well, we have a housing crisis for sure, and anything they're building, they're even building in these communities stuff that people here would never be able to afford. So there has to be a moratorium on rent control. That they have to do a freeze on rent control for 3 to 5 years just to get a handle on what's going on.
Yeah, and that's really even optimistically. Like,
and then the minimum wage has to be increased. I mean, we've been talking about 15 an hour for how long? It has to go higher
y'all
than
California, y'all need like 25 an hour.
At least, yeah. But the problem is that these people in office that claim to be liberals or progressives or whatever, they're just not. There's too much money riding on them keeping the status quo. Nancy Pelosi and Anthony Rendon are the two biggest fundraisers for their caucuses and for the Democratic Party in this state. So there's no way. Now, I successfully blocked the speaker from being automatically endorsed at this convention. I met myself and my friend Liz Castillo, who's a nurse here, and a delegate, got the required amount of signatures to do this. Information, the California Democratic Party, Casey Walconis she's the assistant political director. Clark Lee's the political director. Eric Bauman. They instructed her, or I don't know, the speaker instructed her to give them the list that we submitted of names. Those people started getting calls within 2 hours, getting intimidated. So 2 people, because I had 11 signatures, I only needed 10. The next day after the deadline, 2 people submitted rescission letters saying that they wanted their names off. One had no explanation. The other one letters basically said that she was tricked into signing something, that she didn't know she was signing a recall. And then she went on and on about what a great job that the speaker was doing. And I actually had conversations with this.
Scary.
Yeah. Well, her English isn't good enough to have composed that letter. And I contacted her and I said, you didn't write that letter. There's no way.
You're so fucking stupid. They're not smart. Anyway.
But that's the level of corruption that it goes to. That everyone up in Sacramento, the people working in that office, on down to the staffers here at the speaker's office here in Southgate, they'll do and say whatever they need to do to make sure to keep him in power because of what he means to that party, and he means money. And when I say that he means money, the money that he collects is at the cost of the people in this district, because that money buys his vote. That money buys him. And the fact of the matter is,
on top of that, because he has so much money to spend, and as you know, like living in pretty much in poverty, you don't have time to research hours and hours on Facebook to look up people's records. You're worried about putting food on the table. So if he passes something out that just says, "Oh, I'm off healthcare," they take it to believe it. And hey, he's saying it, so he's never lied to us before.
Well, and I'll say about my people, because this district's 74% Latino. We look at it. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So we look at the ballot, and he's got a Latino name, and he got the D in front of his name. So like, oh, that's all we need to hear. We're like, oh, we'll vote for this guy. We don't pay attention to the voting record. They don't pay attention to the voter record.
I've heard Anthony speak. He ain't with the team. He ain't with the squad. He got the last name, but he not with the squad. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not getting the coquita.
Oh, I know.
The coquita y rum at the fucking Christmas and New Year's party. He ain't getting the invite. So don't be fooled by that name, y'all. I ain't never seen him at no New Year's party, no quinceañeras. He ain't never had a Mexican Coke ever. I ain't never seen one of Mexican Coke. I'm talking about the glass one.
Well, I hope you ain't got no video of me at no quinceañera. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I asked him the other day. I said, Anthony Rendon, have you ever had Tío Tom on your tacos? He said, what's Tío Tom? I was like, oh, he's out, guys. He's done.
No, I roast my own chilies and tomatillos, and I make my own stuff.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, if they get a video of me at a quinceañera, my career might be over.
Oh yeah.
Or it might just
it
just got started. I don't know. It depends on who watches it first.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just a regular person. I'm not a politician. I've never had any aspirations to run for office. A lot of people in the community asked me to run. A lot of Greens supported me to ask me to run. Just because I'm tired of this community, I went. My parents actually were in Compton. My parents bought their home in Linwood in '73. I went to all Linwood schools. I actually just went to last year to my 30th class reunion. For Linwood High, good time.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
I'm
my mom just with her 30th, like literally, I think it was her 30th class reunion too. That's funny. Like last year, actually.
actually, it was the year before last. I'm sorry, it was August of
She was at JFK.
2016.
JFK in San Francisco area. That's what she went to school at.
Linwood High. I went to Linwood High.
Dope.
Yeah, it
Was
was a
everybody
fun
like?
time.
Was everybody like, "Yo, you're running for office"? It's so funny.
No, it was before I even announced. I just announced like Thanksgiving week that I was running.
Yeah, that's true. I about to say, on Facebook, like now it's like class reunions ain't even that funny anymore. It's like, what's up, man? Well, how's it been since the last time I talked to you on Facebook 3 days ago? So much has changed, you know.
Well, it is kind of cool that you connect with people that you haven't seen for a long time or whatever. But I just went out with a friend of mine that I've known since she was 13. She was the maid of honor when I got married.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and I hadn't seen her in a while. And she's like, "Girl, you're busy," because I was in San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento. But politics is no joke, and
So you've
you
literally been
just
all
work.
because that the speaker. How about I say how far? How like miles wise? How far would your city or your district be that you have to campaign in?
Oh my! How many
Yeah,
miles?
like if you, I guess from one end to the other. For example, like the top of Debbie Wasserman Schultz district
I
ends
see.
like 2 hours. It's it's a huge district. If
I
you
don't think because I'm in Lakewood right now. So let's say if I was at the end of Long Beach all the way to the top to Cudahy Maywood, I don't think it's that far. It's these are heavily populated cities, but I don't.
yeah, but the distance.
I have no sense of direction, and I wouldn't even be able to gauge to you right now. Like I said, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I
So
think Google Maps screwed me up because I used to be really good, and now I barely find my way home.
so but I don't want to hold you up too much. I know you have a lot to do. I do want to ask this though. What advice would you have for other people who want to get involved, and then what do you hope to see by the end of your tenure in politics?
I'm really hoping that I'm one of those Dementors because I wasn't a Dem until Bernie ran, and then I got out right away, and then my friends pulled me back in. But I really hope that people get engaged at the very bottom local level because uh, that's where people are making decisions that affect your children and your community, your environment. People really need to recognize that the people that are in power in their communities are the people that are selling them out. And we need to I'm going for a state seat, but we need to make sure that the people we're putting in those positions have our best interests at heart, and we need to know what they're about. We need to really look into them and know what they're about, because we have too many people that have their politics is their life. This is what they intend to do for the rest of their lives, and everything they do is calculated. Every decision they make is calculated. Every vote they make is calculated on the next level of the next position they're going for, because there's a term limit on this state assembly, so he's got another position he's looking out for. So everything he's doing right now is to benefit him in the future. I don't have a future in politics. I don't intend to be in politics for the rest of my life and retire with some ridiculous salary. That's not what I'm about. I already have a job. I make all right money. I've done well for myself. I'm here because this is my community. This is where I grew up, and I had family member just recently pass away, big strong guy, and he found out he had uh, pancreatic cancer. It went to his spleen, his stomach, and his liver. Within 2 months, he was gone in pain, and he had to go to Mexico to get treatment. And they brought him back to San Diego, and he died in San Diego. And
Because he couldn't get cut.
he had no and that isn't genetic. That was an environmental caused illness, and he didn't have the resources, health resources he needed to get treated, at least for the short term.
Yeah.
And people all over this community.
You have cancer.
One of the activists I work with, she's on dialysis and her daughter has cancer. I mean, and how do you pay for all that? It's ridiculous. It's really unjust. It's unfortunate that we have people in power that their priority is money and power, and that is above all else. Yeah. And that's what needs to stop.
Well, thank you so much for that, Maria. I appreciate it. I'll definitely have you back on sooner rather than later. When is your election start? When is your primary?
It's June 5th.
June 5th. And do you have somewhere people can donate to your campaign or?
Yeah, mariafораssembly.org, and it's FOR, so it's mariafораssembly.org. And you could go to my Twitter, it's at Muymexi, MUYMEXI, and my crowd pack and my website is on there as well.
Okay, awesome. And I'll post the link to that in the description below as well if you want to donate to her campaign. Just like I said, she is running against the prick of all pricks, the dick of all dicks, the guy who literally killed single payer and is now running on it, saying that he will provide to people who clearly need it more than they need his empty promises. So go donate to her campaign. Thank you so much for coming on, Maria. I greatly appreciate it.
And thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. We'll do it again soon. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.
Peace out.